So have you been told that your roof isn't vented properly, but actually have no idea what that really means? And what happens if you ignore poor ventilation? Can that damage your home or void your warranty on your roof? In this video, we're going to explain what proper roof ventilation looks like, how it works, and why it's more important than most people realize. By the end, you'll be able to spot common ventilation problems and why getting it right can save you thousands in future repairs. Hi, I'm Tanner with Hoel Roofing. Today we're going to be talking about the air ventilation and the proper way it needs to be done. It's basically for the intake and the exhaust of the air through your roof system. There are typically certain ones that we use, from box vents to ridge vents to gable vents, and you usually also have powered intake that you can all consider to make sure your roof's breathing the way it's supposed to. So a couple things to explain the importance of your roof ventilation being right is it reduces the heat and reduces moisture buildup. It's very important to keep the temperature consistent in your attic, the cold upstairs and the warm downstairs, and this affects the whole performance of your roof system along every aspect. So there's a lot of things that can happen if you don't have proper ventilation or any ventilation at all. This is when you can have dew or moisture building up on the inside of your decking when the temperature is inconsistent, rising and lowering. If your attic is too warm and it's hitting that cold roof underneath of it, that's what's going to cause the moisture, which in turn can turn into mold and mildew, which is not good for anybody. Some of the other problems is your shingle performance, the extra roof performance. With the consistent weather of the cold hot we have here in Indiana, the constant expansion and contraction of your shingles, it's just more wear and tear than they need to be having on them. It needs to stay consistent so they can stay good and solid through the winter and the summer months. So, and then you go into the metal roofing, the constant expansion and contraction can pull the screws in and out and just totally mess up the whole performance and the installation of your roof. So the ventilation is crucial to make sure the roof performs the way it's supposed to. So the main thing we assess these ventilation problems with is getting into your attic. It's very important that contractors are getting in your attic and making a thorough inspection of it so they can check all points where air is coming in and exhausting, what kind of ventilation is currently on the house, and the right steps we can take to improve it or fix it to where you benefit from the right ventilation the most. So when we get up in your attic, there's certain things we run into constantly. Could be something as simple as you get your insulation blown in and it's covering up your soffit that's venting in. We would, some cases, put baffles in, make sure it's cleaned off. It can be something as simple as that compared to a problem where the roof isn't actually venting properly at all. The ridge vent was installed wrong, or the box vents aren't operating like they're supposed to, or there's not enough to adequately exhaust your roof like it needs to be done. So there's a lot of solutions we have that we can put in place to fix whatever problem you have going on with your ventilation. So another question I run into is, can we reuse the ventilation system when we're doing a replacement? So when it comes to the intake, the soffits, a lot of times, yes, that can be reused. We just always make sure that it's clear and no debris in the way. That way it can intake and breathe the way it's supposed to. And when you're dealing with the exhaust, that's normally a no. We need to replace those. That way we can get the aged stuff off, have new box vents on, flashed correctly, or a new ridge vent cut in instead of the box vents you had. Now, we do have certain things we can do to easy plugs to close up the current box vent holes to make sure everything's sealed tight. So when it comes to that, to reusing the stuff, the intake, the soffits, we usually do reuse those, clear them out possibly if need be, and the exhaust is a definite no. We will be placing all of the breathing, the ventilation systems on the exhaust. All right, so there are some questions that homeowners can ask when they're getting their roof inspected and their attic inspected about the ventilation is, do you have the vented soffit on your eaves in the right spots? Do I have enough box vents in place to properly exhaust it? Would I benefit more from a ridge vent? In our experience, the ridge vents are superior. They are going to let all the air that collects at the top exhaust out. In some cases, there's not enough box vents installed, so the hot air is really trying to find a spot to work its way out and setting in there for too long. So it really just depends on the size of your home and the situation, but I can guarantee we can figure out the right process for your home. So another question I get is, can they qualify for any better warranties or longer warranties with the proper ventilation? Not really in my experience, because basically it boils down to an installation thing. And that's why it's very important to ask these questions and make sure the proper ventilation is being installed on your roof replacement. Down the road, if there's any issues with the warranty, if it's for the ventilation, it always comes back down to an installation issue, to where it's usually not helping or being covered by the warranty. So getting this right the first time on your replacement is definitely important in the replacement process. The proper roof ventilation isn't just a bonus, it's a critical part of protecting your home and your investment. If you're not sure if your roof's venting correctly, reach out to us for a proper roof and ventilation assessment, or call us at 765-561-4023, or you can look at the link below, check it out, and we'll be able to get out there and get it taken care of for you. We'll help you understand what's going on up there and how to fix it if needed before bigger problems start occurring with your roof.